Shocking unsolved crime number 20 is the abduction and murder of Adam Walsh.
The disappearance of that little boy, just 6 years old at the time, struck the American heart like no other, and the issue of missing children has never been the same.
On July 27, 1981, Reve Walsh took her 6-year-old son Adam to the Hollywood, Florida Mall. She needed a lamp.
Adam asked her if he could watch 2 sets of boys play video games. Video games were brand new. There was a model video game there, just like kids do now, to look at the newest games. We called him the little gentleman. He asked his mom, "Can I stay here and watch these boys?"
It was the last time his mother saw him alive. When Reve returned to the toy department, Adam was nowhere to be found.
No one helped Reve look for Adam. They told her to go to customer service. Reve started the search, the most painful 2 weeks that you can ever imagine, looking for that little boy. She called the police immediately. Took them forever to respond. I came from my office. I knew something was terribly wrong, and it all spiraled down into hell from there.
Within hours, 50 police officers and 100 volunteers were scouring every square inch of Hollywood, Florida, in cars, boats, and helicopters. But Adam had vanished, kidnapped in plain sight.
Just appreciate anything that anyone could give us any information on.
You should be here with us.
Adam Walsh's case brought home that your child, the thing you love the most, can be taken in a flash even at the local mall.
Posters were plastered across South Florida. The boys' distraught parents, John and Reve Walsh, offered a $100,000 reward for Adam's return.
I started to get that gut feeling that they were overwhelmed. We designed the first missing child poster with a profile and a front picture and a name and a weight. We just were desperate to get the word out about Adam, because after the first couple days, he wasn't even a big story anymore.
2 weeks later, on August 11th, John and Reve begged for their son's life on national television.
That was the worst day of our lives. That was the day after Good Morning America that they called us up and told us that the remains of a little boy had been found in a canal, and those remains were Adam.
2 fishermen discovered Adam's severed head.
I don't know who would do this to a 6-year-old child. I can't conceive of it.
But police were unable to find any clues pointing to Adam's killer. Over the years, countless suspects emerged, yet few proved credible. Even serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer was interviewed about the case in 1991.
There was another suspect.
John Walsh was certain his son's killer was a convicted mass murderer named Ottis Toole, who died in prison in 1996.
I believe, and so do I think the vast majority of people who've really looked into Adam's case, that Ottis Toole got away with Adam's murder. Hopefully there is justice in the next life, and he'll burn in hell for eternity for killing that little boy.
After Adam's death, John Walsh's life mission became clear. He quit his job as a hotel executive and tirelessly lobbied Congress for the formation of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The agency was established in 1982.
The National Center was born with 2 primary missions. One was to reunite families, to bring missing children home, and to keep children safe from sexual exploitation and victimization.
But John Walsh was far from done. In 1988, he began hosting America's Most Wanted.
He has been an icon in the crime and justice field for many, many years.
To date, Walsh has helped bring nearly 1,000 fugitives to justice.
It's now been more than a quarter century since his little boy was abducted and brutally murdered. And he's never lost any of that intensity.
On the 25th anniversary of Adam's abduction, President George W. Bush signed the Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act into law.
This law makes an important step forward in this country's efforts to protect those who cannot protect themselves.
The Adam Walsh Act makes the failure to be compliant with the sex offender registry obligation a federal felony.
It's a great piece of legislation. We had the honor of having President Bush sign it on July 27th, the 25th anniversary of Adam's disappearance.
There was bigger news ahead. In December 2008, Hollywood, Florida police identified Adam Walsh's killer. Cops said circumstantial evidence finally proved overwhelming.
It is our determination and conclusion
that Otis Poole was the abductor and murderer of Adam Walsh.
Although Adam's body has never been found, the case is now closed.
The not knowing has been a torture, but
ever changed how we search for missing children. Shocking unsolved crime number 12 is the murder of Amber Hagerman.
Amber Hagerman is another horrible murder of a beautiful little girl that still remains unsolved. But out of that tragedy came something really, really positive.
The Amber Alert. It is now a familiar part of American life. And it started with the disappearance of one little girl.
Amber was just such a loving child, and she loved everybody. She was very sweet, very kind. She was a very happy little girl. She was the love of our lives.
On January 13th, 1996, Amber Hagerman and her 5-year-old brother Ricky left their home in Arlington, Texas.
They got on the bikes, and as always, millions of times they went around the block, and they were supposed to come right back. Well, Amber didn't come right back. I asked Ricky, where's Sissy at? And I don't know, Mommy. And so my father, he went and got his truck, and went to look for her, and he seen her bicycle laying there, and not Amber, nowhere in sight.
Amber was abducted from an abandoned Winn-Dixie parking lot.
I started crying and screaming and walking towards where she was abducted at and screaming her name in disbelief. It can't be happening.
The only witness to the crime, 78-year-old Jimmy Kevill, could provide few details. He described Amber's kidnapper as a man in a black pickup truck.
He turns around to see her just in time, the man picking her up off her bicycle, throwing her in the black truck, and the black truck drives off, and they're gone.
Immediately, local and state law enforcement began searching the area by ground and air.
We got more and more FBI agents and more police officers, and it just grew bigger and bigger, and still just no luck.
I want my baby home. Just let her go, please. Just let her go. She'll find her way home.
If Amber's kidnapper saw Donna's plea, he wasn't moved.
Well, I wanted my little girl found. The media was the only thing that I was able to do. So I did as many interviews as I could. I got Amber's picture out as much as I could.
A man walking his dog found Amber's body 4 days after her disappearance.
The head was face down in the water. Most of the body was kind of crooked around a rock. The current was running fairly fast behind it.
They told me that her throat was cut multiple times. Her body was nude except for one white sock, and her body was face down in the creek bed.
Amber's gruesome death touched a nerve and affected a nation.
Amber and me, we were just everyday normal people. We were just quiet country folks that mind our business, and I was really shocked how the media got involved and how it spread so fast, and it just seemed like the whole world knew about Amber and just within days.
The Center for Missing and Exploited Children helped launch a national early warning system to notify the public whenever a child is abducted. A system they named Amber.
Time is the enemy in a search for a missing child. In 74% of abduction homicides, the child is dead within the first 3 hours. So we have got to mobilize the eyes and ears of the public to generate that key piece of information.
Amber Alerts have become an increasingly important tool in rescuing kidnapped children.
I did not want another mother to feel the way I am feeling, or another child to be butchered like my little girl was. And I knew I just had to just get up and stand up for our kids' rights and for other mothers.
360 children's lives have already been saved as a direct result of Amber Alert broadcasts.
That really changed the way that people look for missing children by using the national media. So out of that terrible, horrible, unsolved case has come something really positive and a real legacy for little Amber.
The search for Amber's killer continues. Still, Donna Norris can take some solace.
It means a lot to me because when my daughter was here, she was always such a little mommy to other children, and she always took care of them. So I think this is just another way for her to keep doing what she was doing, taking care of children and keeping them safe.